part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action. This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Worldwide. You're listening to the Krypton Report.
Okay, so we are recording this. We just saw the Flash trailer. Funny enough, today is my birthday. So we are being blessed by the TV Warner Brothers gods for giving us this trailer with one of my favorite characters, the Flash, and other Kryptonians. It's been a cool day hanging out with the family, and we get to end it with this. And I got here with me, because we had to say something after seeing it. I got here with me the Superboy, Solomon. What's up?
Hi, I'm glad to be back again. This is so sweet. I've seen a thing that's called Dark Flash. So, in the thing, I wonder if something is gonna be like Dark Flash. Like somebody's gonna be Dark Flash. I think it's gonna be the other Barry.
Okay, hold that thought, because I kind of think maybe. I have also Jania.
Hello.
And then the ultimate look up in the sky, it's me, Selah. Over there, what's up?
I really like Flash's suit and his boots. I really like Flash's suit and his boots because it's so awesome!
What else do you think's awesome? What else did you like?
I like how Kara was in there.
Yeah?
And I liked her hair. And I also, when Flash and the blue one slapped their feet together.
Yeah?
And then they're way running to go find travel. This way is my favorite. This way is the blue one. So I think Summer will be the blue one, and I'll be red.
Selah, do you like the Flash?
Yeah. And Kara.
A little bit or a lot?
A lot, both. Because I yell a lot.
Okay, so who's your favorite, though?
Flash!
All right, Solomon, what was your favorite part of the trailer? There's a lot to process in that trailer.
I love when they went to the Batcave and they turn on the light and they're like, "You are," and Batman says, "Yes, I'm Batman." And they have like this sweet scene that he like defeating everybody, punches and kicks. That's awesome.
I do think it's cool to think about the fact that Solomon, last September, we did the triple feature of Batman movies, and we saw both Michael Keaton films on the big screen. And then here we are in 23. You're going to see him back on the big screen again.
Crazy.
Now, what else did you think was cool?
I also love the part where...
Okay, well, Jania, what'd you think?
I love the part when he rides the bicycle.
The bat cycle?
Yeah, the bicycle.
Bat flip?
Yeah.
Jania?
I'm really excited to see Barry interact with his mother. I think that's really always very cool to see his interaction between him and his mom when he's never had the opportunity to really interact with her before. I'm very intrigued as to how the relationship between him and the other Barry is going to go.
Wait.
I...
One more question.
What, Selah?
I think they're both called Barry, and their mother both called him Barry, and they're brothers. Because...
Okay.
Because he turns out... I think he turns out Blue Flash, then he goes to Superboy.
Okay, I have an idea. Keep going, Jill.
So...
Or that Superboy symbol was Supergirl.
I am unfamiliar with this type of Kara. So I feel like this is kind of like a unique spin on Kara. I'm very interested to see where they take that as well. I have some ideas of where that could be going.
I have one thought about that. I wonder if she was supposed to be Kara.
If she's supposed to be somebody
Her
else.
hair design, her costume look. I'll pull up a picture. is based off another Earth where it's Lois Lane Kent. It's Lois and Clark's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Who's Supergirl. And when I show you the picture, you'll be like, oh, God.
So they took almost like the visual and they just
and
spun it and made it Kara.
And I wonder, because the one thing about this movie, as we know, is they finished it, and with all the production pushbacks, because of it would be very easy for them to change and do a scene where they change her name and make it Kara. So I don't know. That's just a thing I got going on. But if it's just regular Kara, that's cool too.
I want to know more about Zod and like why is he here, or like why is he destroying the buildings and stuff, like, which I also saw a scene that I've never seen of before in the trailer.
Okay.
It's when do you see like a Superman symbol suit? It looks like the one from Man of Steel.
Now, Jania, you had another thought before.
No, I'm just excited that Batman's coming back around. I love that we're having a Michael Keaton Batman. And I absolutely love that they brought the Danny Elfman music into it as a callback. It would have been sad to have the Keaton without the Elfman music.
That would make no sense.
Saying.
That'd be like having Jania without something cool around her.
I'm excited to see the movie. It looks awesome.
Me too. All right.
I'm very excited too.
More thoughts from us coming soon. We're going to press pause and hear a few words from our other podcasts on Press Play Podcast Network.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us and then listen in.
If you are like Tyler and James and can't get enough super talk, check out these other podcasts. Digging for Kryptonite, Supergirl Radio, The Last Sons of Krypton, The Superboy Legacy Podcast, All-Star Superfans, Superman the Animated Podcast, The Aspiring Kryptonians, Always Hold On to Smallville, The Geek of Steel, and Truth, Justice, and Hope.
Remember to check out Krypton Report on all social media platforms. Go to linktree.com/Krypton Report. You find out all of our information. $1 a month. You'll get extra special content that you don't get on the main show, like movie commentaries and whatever else comes out of our mouths. So check it out, patreon.com/Krypton Report.
This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. Today, we will be talking about The Flash. I am your host, Tyler, the Superman of Blue, and with me, as always, James, the Superman of Red, the man who spends more time in a gym than a gym sock, and Bryan, the Batman to our Supermans. What's up, guys?
I'm Bryan.
I'm Bryan. This is pretty awesome. I'm going to say this. So it's a couple of days since the Flash trailer dropped, and mainly we didn't get to talk about it. Sunday was my birthday, and then Monday we just had all of us kind of had something kind of personal come up. And then, of course, yesterday was Valentine's Day, so we were all, had to take care of things from our wife.
Batman doesn't celebrate Valentine's Day.
Our women. And, of course, my neighbor, it's 9 o'clock at night, and my neighbor's, like, doing stuff outside like a dick, and the dogs are barking. And, yes, I said that because I'm really pissed because he's, like, a minute ago he had, like, a drill going or something real loud.
Let me take care of those dogs.
I mean, they're just doing good.
That's when you do work on your house and your yard and things like that. Is 9 o'clock at night.
I'm just like, dude, seriously.
Maybe he's a creature of the night.
I mean, he is. He works like a weird swing shift. But anyways, respect, man. We live in a neighborhood, not in the hills. But anyways, when this episode will drop, it will drop tomorrow. And tomorrow is actually the 8th anniversary of when I started this podcast. So I think that it's
8 years.
So I think that it's fitting that we started this podcast talking about Akara, and then here we are on the anniversary of the 8th year. We're talking about Akara, so that's pretty cool.
But it's been 30 years since I played Batman.
But So, anyways, this episode is all about the Flash. The trailer dropped, and there's so much in the trailer and TV spot.
There's Batman.
That it's just going to take a whole episode. So, as far as news goes, all I have is McFarlane just released their little image of the McFarlane Flash figure. And it looks pretty cool, but the angle that they promote it with, it's just all red. Like, you don't really see any gold or anything.
Red like the blood that drips from criminals.
I was hoping that after the trailer dropped, each day they'd like show one of the other figures for the line, because I really hope that they do. I mean, they would be stupid not to have a Supergirl and a Batman and a Batman and a Zod.
Yeah, if they drop that, oh yeah, if they drop a Zod and a Supergirl, I definitely have to get them. Just like I have to get this Flashpoint Superman.
You better get your Bat credit card ready.
Yeah, don't. It expires forever.
Never leave home without
it. So that's really the biggest thing that I
Wish
have.
I had that credit card.
News wise, and then of course we got 3 character posters: one for the Flash, one for Batman, and one for Supergirl.
I have the Supergirl as my lock screen on my phone.
Dope.
Yeah. It's
Obsessed much?
Well, I mean, I have the lock screen. I have my kids in the under the pajama set that I got them, which is Batman and the Flash. And then when I open it, it's them in their Batman and the Flash costume. It's Solomon in the new Keaton costume and Sayla in a Flash costume. And I'm pretty sure the pajama set might have been from the movie, because it just kind of feels that way, but I don't know. And then Brian's got the awesome Reverse Flash, then the Flash art that should have been the poster.
Run, Barry, run!
If that's not spoken in this movie, I'll be so upset.
What'd you call me?
Barry. But I like
Batman.
the posters. I do. I think they're cool posters.
I'm just gonna talk normal now.
All right.
Yeah, I think the posters look pretty good. I mean, I think the Supergirl poster looks the best, and then the Flash poster, and then the Batman poster.
Yeah, Batman's a little weak, not gonna lie.
Yeah, isn't he like just tilting his head down?
Yeah, he's got the half smirk, like,
And he's got that smirk that Keaton gives.
Well, you know, Keaton's from Pittsburgh, and I'm from Pittsburgh, and I smirk quite a bit, you know?
Yeah, because that's totally just a Pittsburgh thing to smirk.
And call people jagoff. That's a Pittsburgh thing.
Yeah, because you don't know how to talk and spell letters. I don't know. I'm just making it up now.
You want to go downtown? I'll kick your ass, jagoff.
See? You don't even know what he said. So, how many times have you watched the trailer, James?
Oh, I really don't know. I've probably watched it 3 times today.
Brian, how many times do you think you've watched it?
7, 9.
I lost count.
I watched it 3 times the Super Bowl, the day it dropped. Watched it a couple of times the next day.
Wait, we
watched
count
it a couple
TV
of
spots?
times yesterday. Watched it at least 3 times today. So I've probably seen it at least 10 times now.
Yeah.
Are we counting TV spot?
I don't know, because I put the trailer, the TV spot, and the footage they showed at Fandom all in one video, and just I've watched that straight.
Nice.
So I could just have it all, like all the footage they've shown, just in one.
Well, they showed a little bit of different stuff. Like they show the other Barry, the long hair Barry, unsheeting the Batmobile in the Super Bowl spot.
Yep, and that's where you saw Kara descend to Zod too.
So if we're counting the TV spot and the Fandom and the trailer all together, I must have seen it about 67 times, and it keeps getting funnier every time I see it.
I will say that this
The wrong movie.
This
it's gonna be a very long movie.
This is an epic trailer. Like this movie, like Brian said in our chat, was like, I see why you didn't want to just drop this on HBO or cancel it.
Yeah, that was the first thing I said, wasn't it?
Like, this is an epic presentation of the character and the world. And if you're just thinking of it like this is think about Justice League. Either cut doesn't matter. And then
there's only one cut of Justice League.
The heroes get their individual films. Well, think Aquaman. Aquaman was good, but compared to this, Aquaman is small.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Shazam is a small film, okay, but Aquaman looks like Shazam compared to what this movie's doing. If I had to kind of compare it to something, this is like Civil War. Where in Civil War, it's Steve Rogers' movie. It's his story. But you have all these other great characters that are built into it. And it's kind of like, if you think about it, there's not a one-to-one, but like, this is Barry's movie, his story. But then Batman's kind of like Tony, the other big person you're there to see, that you're excited for. And then Supergirl's kind of like Spider-Man, the new person that you're excited for. The more youthful person that you're excited for. So it has that level. I mean, it has a form of a trinity in a way, you know, and it is bigger than what we've seen with, I mean, you know, Batman, A-lister, Flash, A-lister, Supergirl, it's like a B-lister, but
Batman #2, A-lister.
Yeah. And then we have two different Batmans in it. So it feels like a huge movie that has a lot to accomplish. And I am pumped. I mean, you know, we're all fans of Smallville. We know how to separate the art from the artist. Thanks a lot. Stupid, crazy Allison Mack.
We don't talk about Allison Mack.
So the whole Ezra Miller thing, like, I think he's a good actor, but if it was a different person, I wouldn't care.
I don't think he's a good actor.
I'm not attached. Dude, have you never finished you did the first Fantastic Beasts?
Yeah.
Like, as Credence? He was so good as Credence in the first one.
Eh.
And then, have you ever seen When You Talk About Kevin?
No.
That was a creepily good movie. It's realistically scary. But that was the only thing I had seen him for prior to his Justice League work.
Yeah, though the only thing I had seen him in previously was Perks of Being a Wallflower,
Which is supposed to be like his big thing that I didn't watch. I was like,
it's a very good movie. It's it's a very good movie. Like, doesn't make you feel good all the time, but it's a very good movie.
So what I did with my notes, because the only way I could feel like going beat by beat with the trailer, I think is a little repetitive because there's like a lot of tiny cuts. So what I did is I made my notes by character, so that I could kind of break down characters like that. So,
All right, well, lead the way.
So, all right,
do it to it, Laws.
So we have the Flash / what I'm labeling as Barry 1, which is the
short hair Barry.
Yeah, short hair Barry. And I put Barry 1 because it feels like in the trailer, basically what it establishes, he's traveling the multiverse. Because there's a line in the trailer that states, for people who didn't pay attention, I'm getting to the point where I don't like listening to other people talk about things because they don't listen to details. Like, it's getting annoying. He says, "This is the only universe where my mom lived."
I felt that was the best line of the whole trailer. Like, I mean, there's good lines in the trailer, but that one, like, that was early in the trailer. You know, like, why do you want to save this universe? And he's like, "This is the only one where my mom lives."
Exactly.
Like,
so that means
that was like, ooh.
He's traveling, and we see him now. What I have is his lightning was like that whitish blue.
Mm-hmm.
But then after the events, and I'll say Zack Snyder's Justice League because that's the only one that gave the character an arc and actually had him do anything.
Thank you.
After expanding his power, running through the Speed Force, saving the day, and being a real hero, he's gotten faster. And since he started traveling the multiverse, his lightning is now yellow. That's my headcanon. And since later we see kind of we see two Flashes and a Flash that just got their power, it explains why his lightning would be blue or white blue, whatever it is. So.
Oh, that makes sense. That's a good idea.
Brian's like tilting his head, like, what, Brian?
Well, how many characters are you talking about today?
All of them. We'll get there. Okay. So we see the yellow.
Because I have my theories that I
have my theories.
I have my theories from the very beginning, but I think there's a different reason you see two different shades of lightning.
Well, I'm just going by the fact that we see the one get struck, and we already have the evidence from the previous film of how his lightning was.
In the previous film, his lightning was blue, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, his lightning was blue, and this one, his lightning is yellow. And we do see what appears to be Longhair Barry getting his powers from Shorthair Barry.
So here's what we'll do.
In a similar accident.
We're going to go through the trailer, through the characters, and then we're going to talk interpretation of what we think it means and what our theories are.
Sure.
So, highlight points we have. So I said the Keaton Earth, okay, Earth 2. Or is it Earth 89? I'm just going to say Earth 2 to make things simple, okay?
Well, Crisis and Infinite Earths, it was Earth 89.
Yeah. So, and we can reflect that because that showed us that Barry was expanding his powers trying to travel the multiverse because he ran into Grant. That's canon to me in his story. So
I'm going to throw this theory in there.
Also, this is post-Crisis. Go ahead, Brian.
I think that the scene that you see in Crisis... oh, no, wait. He was with Cyborg. Disregard.
Okay. So, we have the Earth where his mom didn't die, and we meet Barry, too. Mm-hmm. No powers. He visits his childhood home in the past, where Barry 1 is hit by lightning and a bolt goes through him into Barry 2. We see the flashing. We see there's a lot of quick cuts. We see Barry 1 talking to Affleck Bruce, telling him he could destroy everything. And then Bruce, he says, I can go back and fix things. And Bruce says, or you could destroy everything. We see Ron Livingston as Henry alongside his dying wife, which Ron Livingston, cool. Like, I'm glad. He's a good actor. I am bummed it's not Billy Crudup, though. Like, I thought they did really, really well. Then we start seeing Zod on a screen for Man of Steel footage. We have the I create a world with no metahumans. We get the awesome shot of Barry running up a building. We have the foot-to-foot of the two Flashes. We see him like basically put a tornado on the ground. And then we have the quick cuts of the suit. We see once again, we see a couple shots of like him staring up, and we have the lenses drop. So that's all. Like, there's a lot in this trailer, but that's really all we get. Big moments of Barry 1 in the trailer. Now, Barry 2, we get the scene of the confrontation of the two and the "you stole my face" line.
Reverse slash.
We have the scene of like him with the repurposed bat suit where he sprayed the foot to foot. Him taking the photo of Supergirl outside the jet. And just kind of him in the background. Now, Batfleck. We get the scene of the flying fox dropping him off with a cycle. Okay? And if you look, this is either something that was not corrected in post yet, or there's significance to it. Because the first two shots of him, he's wearing black and gray. And then later, he has gray and blue.
Yeah, he does.
So, and Brian's extremely excited about that.
That's how Batman's supposed to look.
Says who?
Every good comic of Batman.
Detective 27, he's got purple gloves. Where's the purple gloves, Brian?
That was the original Batman.
Exactly. So if you're going to complain, that's the original.
Neil Adams and Danny O'Neill.
Doesn't matter.
Blue.
It came
blue.
It came after the original.
Tim Sale, blue and gray.
Doesn't matter.
Jeff Loeb.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
Because my argument always
Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee, blue.
As soon as you appoint something other than the original suit,
Andy Kubert.
You are agreeing to something that wasn't the artist's original intent. So as soon as you said that's how he should look, that it's negated for the fact that that's not the original creation. It's just a option that you have.
Bullshit. Every good Batman story has him in blue and gray.
Court of Owls. You can't say anything bad about Scott Snyder. Lawyered.
No, shut up, slut.
Okay.
Just because I'm a student of Scott Snyder doesn't mean that Scott and Greg shouldn't have made him in the blue.
So I'm saying that's either something that was the blue was done in post and they didn't catch up. It's not
what
done.
Do you know?
Or there's a reason. Then we get Bat Keaton. I couldn't think of anything more original. Bat Keaton, whatever. We have the Hall of Suits.
Batman,
yes, features a blue and gray suit.
Yes, it does.
A very comic accurate looking blue and gray suit.
Yep, good old Neil Adams.
That one in there looks really good.
We have the.
Thank you, James.
It does look good, but I'm not the one. I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I don't feel I prefer Batman to be blue. It doesn't make sense to me in a real world scenario. The whole point of black and gray is to blend into shadows in the wall in the night. Blue pops. It's also why I don't like the yellow oval, is because it pops. Yellow should be dictated to Robin because that's what he's there for, is to draw attention. But
Batman wore the 1989 suit only really one time, and it was in
Batman 89.
Crap. No, it was in what the hell? What the city earthquake? Look at your dumb face. It's making me.
I mean, City Earthquake, Superman the movie.
What the hell is it? The
0 year?
No, where the earthquake and Arkham's sealed off.
No Man's Land.
No Man's
Thank you,
Land.
James.
Like, there's several.
Okay.
He wore that.
Wait, what is he trying? Is he trying to say the storyline?
He wore that only in No Man's Land when he came back after being gone for like a year. He wore that very brief.
Cool.
That actual suit.
That's dope. And he also wore it in the Batman 89 comic.
He wore an 89 comic, yes.
So, continuing. Bat Keaton. We find out he's retired. The cave. We see the Batmobile, the Batarang in a shot, the Bat plane.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, we see him in action.
Cool dive shot.
Yeah. Then we have Kara Supergirl. I have a lot of questions about this, but what we see basically that they've given her the Flashpoint Superman story, where somehow she's been kept underground, away from sun. She's emaciated. She looks horrible, and Batman and Barry free her. She does say that she is Kara. Okay.
Did her patient uniform say Cadmus? I was trying to look really close. It looks like it says C something.
Someone it looks like it says most dangerous in Russian.
Okay.
So
I was going to say, it's definitely Russian. It's not English. I paused it. It does not say Cadmus.
Okay.
We do get a really interesting shot early on of her feet, like lifting up, like she's on the roof of Wayne Manor.
Mm-hmm.
We get a shot of her flying next to the plane. We see her fighting Feora. We see her fighting the prisoners when she breaks out. And we do get like a cool shot of her descending towards General Zod. We see some heat vision. We do get the line of "What have you done?" or "What did you do?" And that's kind of my breakdown of like the shots of the characters.
I think her suit looks pretty good. My only complaint about the suit is there's a lot of blue. If they would have threw in like some red at the bottom a little bit more.
I think on the sides you see like material, like it could have been red down, like just kind of like down her legs and stuff. Like now we can just kind of talk openly about thoughts, and we'll kind of let's start with Supergirl, okay? And we'll kind of work our way a little bit backwards because I feel like the Barry discussion is the biggest part. Here are my thoughts on Supergirl. Is this Kara, okay? Any allusion to the kids are watching The Office? They always have it on when they fall asleep. What I'm trying to wrap my brain around is on this is, are we back to Prime Earth with this Kara? Or is Kara on Keaton's Earth? That's my first thought.
So wait, you say is she created because of Flashpoint, or was she there prior?
Right.
Is that what you're asking?
So my thought is, one,
that's a good question.
Is she the escaped Kryptonian that was alluded to in Man of Steel?
Oh,
the original, because it could be something because we don't know one.
Dude, yeah, because that chamber was open.
Right. So there could be the idea that the government found the scout ship, they activated it, she came out, they took her. You know what I'm saying?
Was that a deleted scene?
No, it's a real quick, just Clark's looking around the scout ship, you see one open. They were going to allude to it because they actually did a comic. It was supposed to be Supergirl, but we don't know if this is actually that.
I like that theory. I think that could be it.
That's one thought I had. The other thought is, with the events of this, is there no Clark that now we have Kara instead of Clark? And it's an alternate story because she was going to take
it. What do you think,
James?
I mean, all of that is everything that was speculated before was rumor to begin with, and now, it's not. The only thing at this point is I saw somebody saying that James Gunn said that Sasha Calle is not going to be the Supergirl for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
I didn't really think that she would.
So, I don't think that she's going to be the. I don't think she's going to be like the main Kryptonian that we would be seeing.
No, see, I didn't
moving
think
forward.
I didn't think she would be. I think that if they're smart, she'll be on another Earth type thing. Because my other thought is, when he goes back in time and there's Zod, once again, is that back to he basically traveled back to the events of Man of Steel, but this time there is no Cal, there is no Superman. So does he bring Keaton to our Earth, or is Keaton even there to go into the battle against Zod?
Yeah, at this point, I'm not sure what we're looking at, because we kind of know the Flashpoint story where the world has changed, but it's another timeline. It's a world that's not supposed to exist because Barry made it exist. The Flashpoint Beyond even was it's supposed to have been erased, and Batman is keeping it contained.
Yeah. That's my biggest thing is because my thought is that Keaton's going to be part of Act 2, but I don't think he's going to stay around for the big end. I don't know.
Yeah, and Zod is everything Zod happening on another Earth at this point? It's hard to tell,
right?
Because he says this. They talk about time. They talk about traveling through time, and then they also talk about traveling to different Earths. And he said, "Why this one?" I don't know if that's a timeline or if that's an Earth, but we know why. It's because this is the place that his mother lived.
So that's my thoughts. With Supergirl, is she on Earth 1 instead of Cal, or is she on Earth 2? That's what I'm kind of curious most about, because it kind of feels like she's on Earth 2. Okay, and that he maybe has to Barry has to bring her to Earth 1 because he travels and there is no Superman. And the other thing is, Barry now has experience with fighting Kryptonians after fighting with Superman in Justice League. So that does give him a little bit more of an advantage when dealing with Zod. So this is all stuff that's running the bed. I'm not looking for anything that happened in this movie to be carried into the new slate.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the big final act, because we also know there's a Dark Flash, and we didn't.
Hold on, we're getting there. We're getting there. That's why we're working backwards with each character, because we're going to get there.
Well, I'm just saying we have seen that's going to be the case. So I don't think we're even seeing the third act or the resolution.
I'm with you.
I mean? I'm
with you there, and I have my theory.
So is Zod on Keaton's Earth, or is Zod? It's it's very ambiguous, like, because we don't know where this stuff is taking place
Exactly.
specifically.
So with Bat Keaton, we agreed. Brian and I talked a little bit. He's the dude with the long white hair, like he's recluse.
I would say so.
Do we think we're gonna get that this movie is gonna be kind of a send off, swan song-ish to 2 Batman?
Yes.
So it's gonna kind of say goodbye.
But I have my theories about something I want to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I think that Barry is going to talk to Bruce about, like, when I ran and whatever in Justice League, I saw some stuff. I want to say my mom. Bruce, like, you can end everything. Whatever. So he does it anyway, and then I think he's going to meet this other Flash, and then there's no metahumans. Shit's hitting the fan, and he goes to the mansion to get what he thinks is Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And then there's Keaton.
Right.
So that's your Flashpoint world. So your Flashpoint, I think your whole, maybe, Act 1 and 2 is going to be your Flashpoint world. There's Keaton. There's Kara.
But see, it's not really a Flashpoint world because it's another world where his mom survived.
You know what?
He's not changed it yet where he stopped his mom from dying.
That actually strikes me. That actually makes me think about something I hadn't thought about yet.
Okay,
when he's talking to Ben Affleck, he's talking about time travel, that he can go back and change things. And Ben Affleck's telling him that he could destroy everything by doing that. So what if instead of deciding to go for time travel, what if he decides to find another Earth where his
There you go. There you go.
Right.
There you go. So on this other Earth, he's looking for Affleck because on this world, there's no metahumans, no Superman, no whatever. I think Keaton knows about Supergirl, and they release Supergirl to stop that. That's your part. But
I think that's all
then
clean.
Barry then this Dark Flash changes something, and Barry goes to fix it. You get your third act, and then that's where you see Affleck's Batman in the blue and gray.
See, my thought similar to this.
But
something changed.
He's going to turn out.
See, my similar thinking is, I was thinking about this today just for fun. It opens, maybe with an action scene, with the Batman and Flash, or it's just Flash, okay? And what we have is Barry working for the crime lab, because I do want to see him in the crime lab. They have his father up for parole, and his father is denied. And that starts Barry in the thought process of going back and changing things. And and then him and Bruce team up for something, and then he's talking to Bruce, and Ben Affleck's in the black. Because my thought is, but it kind of almost looks like at certain times, is Batman there for the Black Zero? Like if we're in the events of Man of Steel, instead of it being Bruce like it was in BVS, is he actually Batman on the streets during the events of Zod's attack? Because that would explain a little bit more why Batman's active during daylight. So, now.
I think there's a lot of possibilities to think about with this trailer.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Just from the fact that we know certain storylines that they're pulling from, as well as what we can see so far from this trailer.
I'm not even looking at the storylines that they're pulling from. I'm kind of thinking evidence and dialogue and trailer. Ever since that new law passed where you can't be too misleading with a trailer, thanks Marvel, I'm looking at it a little bit more strict.
Well, thank you yesterday. And then we're looking at you, Marvel. Your freaking Infinity War and Hulk running in Wakanda. Freaking jerks.
So, we were told that this is supposed to be Ben Affleck's big swan song for Bruce Wayne. So there's got to be...
But is it Aquaman?
Yeah, but I feel like even if he does a pop-up in Aquaman, he'll just be Bruce Wayne. I don't think he'll be Batman. I think this is his big Batman, goodbye. We'll see.
I was gonna say I don't think that's official. I don't think anybody's actually said that. I just think that's still that's what they've been saying forever.
I'm just taking it one
Gonna
movie
be
at a
in
time
it. It's
right
gonna
now.
be yeah.
Because my other thought was this. For the longest time, we didn't know any details about Sasha's Supergirl other than she's Supergirl. And she looked straight up like, was it Lara Lane Kent or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, why would you even make her look like that much like the character, her costume like that, if you're just going to call her Kara? Like, to me, I think maybe she was supposed to be, and then in reshoots and edits, they made her Kara. This is a thought. I could be completely off. It's just a deep thought. Because, I mean, let's face it, guys, we're here so far with the Flash. Okay?
I mean, so far, I mean, this is the closest we've been in 8 years to getting this Flash movie.
This movie was supposed to come out 5 years ago.
This movie was announced 9
years ago.
Was it? Yeah. No, it was announced in 2014.
Was it in 14? Okay, I thought it was 15.
It was right after the Flash debuted.
It was the day after Grant Gustin's Flash debuted. They announced Ezra Miller's The Flash in Justice League, officially Momoa, Ray Fisher, Cyborg, and they came out with the slate of what would be the DC that never was. And think about that.
That's a tragedy.
He's announced it for his Flash movie. And here we are. Grant's wrapping up his 9th season as the Flash, and we finally get this movie. And it's been through 3 or 4 different directors. Yeah, I think 4.
Please just make Grant the Flash.
So if Andy Muschietti kind of comes out with like one of the greatest DC movies of all time, I mean, I really hope he gets to stick around and does some other good work.
I mean, let's look at the track record of horror directors moving to doing really good comic book movies.
They do pretty well.
I mean, think Zack Snyder's first film was a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
But even if we set him to the side, Sandberg, Wan, and now Muschietti.
And even James Gunn.
And
James Gunn's done horror.
Yeah. But we haven't seen a James Gunn directed DC movie. Well, we did, Suicide Squad. I take that back. But it wasn't anything like amazing. It was just good. But I'm just saying, like, you have these, because Muschietti and Sandberg have a very interesting career where they both started with a tiny short film that then was made into a large, full-blown film. And then, of course, he went on and made it. So I'm just saying, like, it's interesting. We're finally here. But what's the rule about like a DC movie? You don't believe it exists until you're sitting in the theater actually watching it.
Right.
That's when you know it's real.
Well, I think before recent events, you know, or more recent events, we would have believed by the time we got this trailer and everything, like, but after they, you know, cancel things at such a late stage, and I think now it's really pushed to like ticket in hand or sitting in the theater watching the movie.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna start with Bryan. Your thoughts on Barry 2 and like the Dark Flash? Like, what are your kind of thoughts? What are you feeling? What's your theories?
Okay, so prior to the return of Barry Allen in Final Crisis, there was no mention of Barry's parents. There's really none. You know, you just assume they were together. They grew old together. So even in Flash Rebirth, Reverse Flash plot is I pulled you out of the timeline when you disappear in Crisis. I pulled you out of the Speed Force, and he did that because he wants to torture him. And the Reverse Flash went back in time and killed Barry's mom.
Yep.
And then he was the monster under Barry's bed.
Yeah.
Torturing him through the night. He made sure all his friends all moved away. He pushed Barry down the stairs, broke his arm. Like this, all he cares about is making Barry's life hell. But the Reverse Flash cannot exist without Barry. So I think you see the lightning change these two separate lightnings because that dude in the yellow hoodie, man, that's Reverse Flash. This other Barry he finds is Reverse Flash. And the reason that Barry's there is because he went back in time because Barry needs to create him. And so in the effort of Barry thinking he's making a friend, think that he's in essence creating himself, he's creating Eobard Thawne. And I think that I don't know if it's going to be a different actor and like pull off a mask, whatever, But in the Return of Barry Allen story with Wally, it's a few years that Barry's been gone, but Eobard changes his appearance to Barry Allen and says, "Oh, I'm back, everybody. Hey, Wally, I'm mentoring you. I never, I'm here." So I think it's going to be a mixture of Rebirth, Return of Barry Allen, that dude in the yellow hoodie. I think that's dead on Reverse Flash, thus creating a villain, whatever.
Okay. I'm not against that.
So your final battle is going to be,
Flash versus Flash.
I create Reverse Flash. What the hell? This change of lightning, Barry is the source of the Speed Force. Like, as he moves, it creates the Speed Force. But as he moves, the Reverse Flash, if he moves, then he eats away that Speed Force. It's a constant loop of time. Reverse Flash doesn't use speed; he uses time.
See, my thought is this: Barry 1 goes to Earth 2. In this world, there's no metahumans, or he doesn't have any powers because his mom's alive, so he never went through the steps that led him to getting his powers. Which is interesting. Can we just say real quick that in every Flash comic, he gets his powers by working in the crime lab, and we know that this Barry didn't work in the crime lab until after Justice League, so we're not really sure how he got struck by the bolt of lightning with chemicals and all that jazz. Just throwing this out there. This is post-crisis movie too, so
yeah.
But my thought is he meets himself living the life that he always wanted. Okay, he's with both his parents, his mom's alive, and through something he ends up trying to give himself power. So he takes him to the event that gave him power, so the lightning bolt hits him and Barry 2, giving Barry 2 his powers. So Barry 2 now has his powers, he's got his help. They go and they defeat the Kryptonians. But after they defeat the Kryptonians, which I'm not sure how they're going to do it yet, is when Barry 2 turns and becomes Dark Flash. And this Dark Flash is an amalgam of Zoom, their own take on it, and Eobard Thawne. I don't think we're going to get a straight up Eobard Thawne. It's going to be this amalgam that Barry kind of creates because we've seen a little bit of what he looks like. And I think he's going to turn and for some reason, be it that whatever. And then there is your Dark Flash, or there is a third entity moving around that we don't see. I always like the idea of Reverse Flash being in the first Flash movie. It's like a Tyler Durden. Like we never seen but through like blips. And he's actually set up for the sequel villain, but whatever. So we're going to get this Dark Flash.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done the Reverse Flash in the first Flash movie, but, if your old point is Flashpoint, reset and stuff, then yeah, sure, whatever.
So I feel like this Dark Flash is going to be an amalgam of like different evil speedsters and their stories, and Barry kind of created it himself. He made himself into the villain or something. And then then they're going, like he said, they're going to battle after they defeat the Kryptonians. And then
yeah, I mean, I've talked about how before, I think that like the story of Flashpoint, maybe makes a little more sense as an earlier story for Barry as well, because as a later story, he knows the perils of time travel and to change things and everything. So causing Flashpoint at a later date, farther in his heroic career, but doing it early on in his career, where he makes a big world changing mistake like that. I think something like that makes sense. So, lots of these stories, I mean, the thing with the Flash is so many of these stories involve time travel and parallel Earths. So, like, all these things can be a plot for something, for somebody from the future, like Reverse Flash or something like that. Like, it can be a plot for somebody who's already been through and seen things. But I don't think that the story is gonna pull on like the extra speedster threads right now, like beyond the Flash and maybe like a Reverse Flash. I don't think we're gonna get too much of like the Wally and Bart and Jay and even more speedsters, villains, and heroes.
I think
if we see some through time travel or through universal travel, I think that's all we would get for this.
Yeah, I think we need Wally. I think we need to build to Wally. I think if they did a sequel with Ezra and have Wally in it and then kind of have him take over, I think that would be kind of neat. This all goes back to
if the DCU is kind of more where things are established and we've got Damian, then perhaps we've had a Titans team and Wally is on that cusp of taking over the Flash mantle.
Or just give me a Titans, a good Teen Titans. So Bryan has to go. We love Bryan.
Yep. Gotta work early tomorrow.
What time you get up in the morning?
6. Have a all hands meeting at 7:30.
James, what time you get up in the morning?
6.
Dang. My alarm goes off at 5, 5:15, 5:30. And usually I get up between 5:30 and
I also
6.
haven't eaten dinner yet.
I was going to get you some food, but we had some stuff that I just
But you didn't.
Oh, because we were trying to start. So, ladies and gentlemen, Bryan.
If you'd have shown up on time, you could have eaten before we got started.
All right. Quick question, quick round. Okay?
Suck it!
Here we go. Do we think Grant will show up? Yes or no?
I think
Yes.
maybe in a cameo, yes.
Okay. Do we think Leslie Grace could possibly pop up or be alluded to, since we're dealing with Keaton's Batman as having a sidekick? And that could how we could sneak in a Batgirl appearance.
Ooh.
Is it Leslie Grace or Leslie something else? I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, I think it's Leslie Grace.
I'll say it's late.
That would be really cool.
Because I feel like Keaton's Batman was supposed to be... It was supposed to be the same Batman that was in Batgirl.
Yeah, but if that was the case, if they put her in there, then people will be like, "Oh, like." So we get Batgirl, and we're never going to see her movie.
Or it's a ploy. I'm just saying, like, it's a way of throwing it out there.
I think Grant's your new Flash.
I think
that's never going to happen.
Do we think we'll see Colonel Hardy?
Suck it, James.
Do we want Christopher Maloney back?
Yeah, I'd definitely be down to see him back.
Do we think that we could potentially see,
or he might be dead already?
Could we potentially see Henry Lennox again?
Ooh, you're asking questions I never thought of.
Like maybe because
people who were involved during Man of Steel.
Right, exactly. My last kind of big point is I kind of feel that how the movie could end is that Sasha's Supergirl stays on Keaton's Earth, and he kind of helps mentor her to be a better hero for their world, since she will be like the only metahuman on the world. And he'll kind of take her under his wing. That's kind of my thought process. Of that way, you kind of, if you ever wanted to bring her back for anything, you have this idea that she exists on this other Earth. So if in the future Gunn did want to try to do something, he could be like, she could appear from another Earth. So, I mean, all these questions are just things I've kind of pondered over the days of just, there is so much in this trailer. And there are so many questions about timelines and Earth hopping because we kind of have evidence for both. So they really have their hands, a lot to do. How do you feel about the suit, James?
his suit from certain angles looks really good. And from certain angles, it doesn't.
And I think
like the one angle that you can freeze on in the trailer where he's kind of looking off to the right or whatever over his shoulder, that upwards angle or whatever, his neck looks like so tiny, and it's probably due to the twisting, but his neck looks so small, and it makes his head and the cowl look like a helmet.
And I think that's the biggest thing is you have this almost like, it kind of reminds me of the season 5, 6 of The Flash, where he has the really good suit, but the headpiece is more helmety. And I sent you guys the picture. I put the two together. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that, because I like the suit, but some angles where it does look off. And I think that's just Ezra's body, natural head shape, and the material of the cowl. The last thing I kind of wanted to touch on real quick is they did release an official Flash synopsis, and I was going to read that. Worlds collide in The Flash when Barry uses his superpowers to travel back in time in order to change the events of the past. But his attempt to save his family inadvertently alters the future. Barry becomes trapped in a reality in which General Zod has returned, threatening annihilation, and there are no superheroes to turn to. That is, unless Barry can coax a very different Batman out of retirement and rescue an imprisoned Kryptonian. Alibi, not the one he's looking for. Ultimately, to save the world that he is in and return to the future that he knows. Barry's only hope is to race for his life, but will making the ultimate sacrifice be enough to reset the universe? So, that's a lot. And I like what you said about Flashpoint makes sense for an early Barry story. Oh yeah, and also we have the scene of Supergirl flying in the sky holding a body that kind of looks like Barry too, but could be wrong. So the trailer's great. I recommend people just keep watching it.
Oh, definitely. And I keep watching the same one. I keep watching the one on DC's YouTube page.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else, James? Thoughts on Flash? We're just making it Flash oriented tonight, guys.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great trailer. I think it looks awesome. There's a lot to speculate on. Like
obviously, that's we've been doing all night.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a while. And you know, there's a lot of guesses, but I think the one thing we can say for sure is it looks like Supergirl has the Flashpoint Superman storyline. We got to see her and got to see her from the back with her spine and her ribs sticking out, like she was very emaciated. So like the rescue scene where she kind of flies around and takes out all the soldiers and everything, like it's going to look really cool.
And I'm not judging this trailer by the special effects yet, because I know how special effects can work.
Yeah, like the one scene of her flying up to the Batwing looks like it's going to need a little more touch up.
And that's the thing. That's what they're working on. Like, it's not done, people. You know? Like,
yeah. You know, I have no doubt that there's been a lot out there, but I haven't seen it, thankfully. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard it. I'm very excited for it. I like like I said, I like Supergirl. I'm actually really excited for the fact that we've got Zod back, Supergirl in this movie. It's going to be a very different event than what we saw in Man of Steel.
And can we just touch on the fact that this movie comes out almost 10 years after Man of Steel? Like, within that same 10-year week of Man of Steel's release. So, like we're doing our 10-year watch, I think, a couple days before the movie drops. So, 10 years later, we're revisiting Man of Steel through another movie and revisiting Michael Shannon.
Yeah. 10 years.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
I can't. Yeah, I just can't. I'm so. It definitely made me. It took all the wind out of the sails for Shazam 2, I guess.
Yeah,
which I'm absolutely going to see next month.
I feel like, I'll be honest, I feel like this trailer is so big and huge, but like Shazam 2, like people just kind of forgot it's coming. And also, like, the second Shazam trailer was good, but it wasn't like, oh my God, this trailer is like, holy God. Like, this is, like I said, like a Justice League / type Avenger level feeling film. Like, it is up there. It's not just your individual next hero film. So
yeah, it looks great. I'm so excited that we have 4 friggin' DC movies coming out this year, and this one comes out in June. Like 4 months, and I can't wait.
And that's the best way to end it. So remember, everybody, check out the Flash trailer, and remember,
Look up in the sky.
we just want to say, if you've enjoyed this podcast, please check out other podcasts on the Press Play Podcast Network.